Hello YouTube, Mark here, MMR, Trains and More. Today we're going to talk about a big industry at Manitowoc, the Manitowoc Portland Cement Company, MPC. MPC was a big employer back in the 1950s. You can imagine with all the interstates and roads being paved after World War II, their business really took off and they were served by the Soo Line. MPC loaded various types of cars. They had several tracks for dry bulk cement, the kind that would be loaded into a twin or two bottom covered hopper back in the 50s. And the other business that they had was bagged cement, more consumer grade stuff a guy might use at home. This went out in bags of various weights and that was loaded into boxcars. The other aspect of the business, of course, would be inbound coal and limestone and anything else they would need in the production of cement that didn't come in by boat. I don't know as much as I probably should about the actual making of cement, but again, here for model railroading purposes, I think we have our bases covered with an inbound track and then the outbound product. A swing bridge spans the river for the Soo Line. And here you can see the face of the building along the riverbank. Still to be finished is a tugboat, and perhaps a lake freighter will be parked here, at least the back end of one, representing something being unloaded as the building would go well beyond the backdrop.
In this picture from the late 1940s, you can see the Manitowoc Portland Cement Company in the upper right-hand corner. You can see the silos. There's a gantry crane off to the far right. And the whole operation kind of laid parallel to the riverbank, unlike my model at a 90-degree angle. The Soo Line cuts across that busy peninsula, shipyards, and then crosses in front to the left of those silos as you look at this picture, and then underneath the 21st Street Viaduct. One interesting note as well, different on my model railroad compared to the prototype, is that the Soo Line had quite a yard capacity to the west or behind those silos. And oftentimes cars would get stored in that cement yard that either were bound for the car ferry or the shipyard, whatever, kind of an overflow spot for them. Well, as you can see from my layout pictures, I don't have the room to build a yard even of 15 or 20 car capacities. So on my layout, the yard that was servicing a flour warehouse that you see at the lower center left side of this picture, there's an elevator there. There was a yard in front of that structure, and by my era, even by the 50s, that yard was gone. But I had to put it into the layout just for that extra capacity because I did not have the room around the cement company. Two trains from Neenah arrive daily at Manitowoc, and we have a diagram here showing a little bit of the track layout plan. The flour yard is, as you see, along the river, and that's what I was speaking about on my layout as far as more capacity. Now that elevator is off on the left side of this diagram where it says abandoned track, right before the Bascule Bridge, jackknife bridge headed west out of town and away from the ferry slip. And you can see a little bit of the yard as a model railroad operator would look at it. It's conveniently located very close right on the aisle, so all the cherry picking can be done quite easily. And now the train heads out of the yard and eventually will cross over the Bascule Bridge on its way to the MPC facility. We have it broken down on the west end of Manitowoc so that there's the shipyard job, the MPC job, and then the White House milk job, which we'll make a video of a little bit later. Not much thought is given to weighing cars on most model railroads. Manitowoc also had a scale on the Soo line, and I wanted to represent the weighing of the cars mainly coming out of the cement company. And here we have a kind of nice operation. It adds a little time to the switch job, and it usually involves weighing at least 4 to 6 of these covered hoppers. Here's where the model railroad and the prototype kind of separate a little bit. I wanted to have a little fun, and so I decided to do another one of those famous Art Curran kit bashes. And this is representing the Goodrich steamship line warehouse and dock at Manitowoc. My hometown was also served by Goodrich. It's nothing like the original area really of either town, but I wanted to have something here that again the trackage in front of it would serve as a little bit of a off spot for the cement company, and it would add kind of a neat old building to the scene. On the model railroad, the MPC company now owns the building and uses it for storage or whatever they need for their company.
Now, if you would be so kind to subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in today, and we'll see you down the rails.